Rapidly turning the power on or off during scoring may result in data loss. Who in their right mind would rapidly turn the power on and off? You could jump 1.5 blocks high, tops. That's just the way it is. Ho, not just yet. Oh my god. Oh, okay. Still though, you could like devote your whole life to this game. So yeah, don't approach this game like you're expecting this all to be uniformly easy. Even the very first level was a little bit tricky, and it requires like a little bit of critical thinking. And it's especially annoying too, because you do not have a lot of pieces to work with. You've just got a block and you've got one color. But even so, even in the very first stage, it manages to make you kind of think hard. So this game will give you a lot of puzzling fun. Is it me, or does the background of all of the stages look like the default Windows XP background? The interesting thing about this game is that in each individual stage you have a lot of options. Now, the actual ways you can interact with the environment are fairly limited. I mean, you suck up the juice, you insert the juice. But even in that level 1-3, I mean, you had like 3 options of what blocks to put them in, and then you can move the blocks everywhere, and then you can choose like what order everything happens in. So despite the fact that like the actual actions you can take are fairly limited, the choices you get to make as part of doing those actions is actually fairly complicated. If you view a hint, you get a staple of shame in file selection and world map. Are you absolutely sure? No, I'm not. Alright, take a look at the stage 1-8. So to start off with, we've got 3 blocks. Now there's no colors. So pretty much your options are move around the blocks. But as you can see, I mean, how you're going to move the blocks around is definitely going to be an art. And honestly, this, I don't know how I'm going to handle this. And so this is the kind of puzzling action that Sutte Hakkun really brings to you. I mean, this game is not holding anything back. They are just coming at you right from the beginning even, with like, just, can you manipulate these mechanics in the smartest way possible? Hakkun's mouth is your most powerful tool. There we go. Feels good. Well, what do you know? Hakkun's hut is good for something after all. I like how even though this is a puzzle game and it doesn't need a point system to rate your answers, they still included a point system, and I feel like that really kind of ties into the whole Japanese spirit of perfectionism, because how can you achieve perfectionism if there's not even a score to achieve perfection with? Although it is kind of interesting because you lose points for every action you do, but that means there's no clear maximum score you can have. And so then, just like speedrunning, it becomes like this eternal battle against, I don't know, human nature or something, as you try to get the lowest score, but or the highest score, but you have no idea what that score even will be. And so, thousands of tries later, you get something and then some hotshot comes out of nowhere and just completely breaks your score. That's what Hakkun's all about. So yeah, stage 2, you're in the trees, but the stages sure aren't getting any easier. Well, I think I've showed off enough of this game. Unfortunately, this is a game that's gonna take a long time to beat. It's way more than just a quick hour or 3. But I think I'll keep playing this one. This one's actually really good. I think I'll keep chipping at it day after day, and honestly, that's the way you've got to play these sorts of puzzle games. But yeah, no, I'm gonna take a look at this, keep on at it, but for now, check out these other 2 games. Ooh, an exit function. I wonder what this does. So let's take a look at the characters we've got here. We have Mai from Fatal Fury. We have Yuri from Art of Fighting. We have Athena from, well, the little-known obscure SNK game, Athena. We have Leona, as King of Fighters' original character. We have Nakaruru from Samurai Showdown. We have Shermie from King of Fighters 97. We have Shiki, also from Samurai Showdown. And Akari from The Last Blade. Yeah, that's right, I don't use any items. So, in the King of Fighters Round 1 and Round 2, the alternate color for Mai is blue. In this game, the alternate color is gold, I guess? That is intolerable. One interesting thing to note here is they fixed the glitch in King of Fighters Round 2 where the enemy character wouldn't actually do anything at the start of the round, so you could get in a few cheap hits. But no, here they seem to be fully functional AIs. So one thing that's kind of interesting is taking a look at this art style and scrutinizing it. So I mean, yeah, it's one thing to take a look at the super deformed style, compare it to the arcades, and you're like, oh gee, this is massively inferior. But take a look at King of Fighters for the Game Boy. So in this game, they're going for realistic proportions. And honestly, it's tiny. It's tiny on the screen. The Game Boy has nowhere near enough resolution to show everything from the arcade anyway. And then when you enforce the proportions from the arcade, then it just does not work. And so if you're wondering, like, why did they go for this sort of super deformed look? It's because, well, they knew better. This, honestly, like, the characters are bright and expressive. You get most of their, like, characteristic looks and feels. Their special moves they use actually look like the special moves from the arcades. Well, you can at least tell, like, which special move they're trying to use. Ooh, here comes a new shell. What the heck? The one secret character fought me off for the rights to fight me over the other secret character. It's pretty ridiculous. Also, isn't weird as chip damage do a ridiculous amount? Honestly, why do they keep on falling for that? Alright, time for the final boss, Yori Yagami in a dress. And here we have Andy keeping the rich tradition of never appearing in the Pocket Portable games. Seriously, I played these first and I had no idea who Andy was until I played a proper King of Fighters game. Oh, after all that work, I only unlocked one secret character. By the way, Yuki is Kyo's girlfriend. She doesn't show up in any other fighting game. She does, however, show up in the weird King of Fighters dating sim game. No! Hey, wait a minute. I just realized we are fighting in a men's bath. Who? One interesting thing about this being on a portable system is that the CPU of the portable system is a little bit less good. But what does that mean? That means the AI itself is actually less good, which is kind of interesting to think about. It's not something that would usually come up, but in a sense, this is why some handheld ports of fighting games just aren't any good. It's because they don't have the CPU power to run the complicated AI subroutines from the arcade. Wait, does that mean she's gonna kill them? Leona's running animation is complete nonsense. This is perhaps the most confusing character select screen I've ever seen. So one of the most notable things about Arabian Fight is the super smooth scrolling scaling. One thing is you can actually see the enemies in sort of a FMV cutscene before they jump into play. Also, you can see the boxes awkwardly kind of change shape as you move into and out of the foreground. That is, not only does your character scroll, which makes sense because your character itself is moving, but everything else in the world is also scaling at all times, because they had to get the most mileage out of their scaling algorithm as they could, regardless of whether it was good or not. So just in case you were wondering, there are in fact magic attacks. They are not, as one might say, great, but they are magic attacks. Oh, what is this nonsense? Oh, okay, so now we're at level 1, even though the last stage... What the hell was that, then? Oh, cool! You can see her in the background. I'll be honest, this game does not play very well at all. But there are various cool cutscenes and cool extra levels, so... Okay, so I'll be honest, after the pyramid level I got a little bit bored and I decided not to play this anymore. Because honestly, the gameplay is just not that good at all. And, I mean, you also have the whole scaling thing, which just makes everything look like garbage, and it's not a very good combination. But thankfully, the intro sequences show us a whole lot more of what happens during the rest of the game. So feel free to check a few snippets of what could await you if you decide to play through this game. You know, one time I actually conned me and 3 other friends to play through this game back in the day. I mean, it sounded cool. I heard about it in Hardcore Gaming 101. The stills of this game look absolutely amazing. But seeing the game in motion, significantly less good, let us say. Honestly, I'm a little bit embarrassed that I made them play through the whole game. In retrospect, this is kind of a terrible game, huh? You make the full line. Full line disappear. And pot drop. Pot drop, what the heck? Ooh. Check out those difficult... Yeah, one thing that's kind of interesting is the pieces don't have, like, a physics towards the edge of the wall. Like, you can move the pieces towards the wall, but if they're too close to the walls, then you can't actually rotate them. Whereas in other Tetris games, you can actually... The pieces will kick back away from the wall as you do it. And in fact, I believe that forms the basis of more advanced techniques in Tetris the Grandmasters. So, unfortunately, if you're expecting Xyonix to match up to Tetris the Grandmasters, man, I got some bad news for you. Oh, there is a hard drop. There's no guides, but there's a hard drop. With my fresh new board, it's only the madness of endless possibilities to drive me crazy, rather than the madness of putting up with an impossible situation. Three in a row. You can clearly tell this is not using the actual Tetris algorithm. And Tetris ends the way it always does. She doesn't even have the decency to stick around for the entire game over sequence. What kind of game is this? We have an interesting name entry screen. So apparently, it assumes your name is 6 letters long, and there is no way to shorten your name. So, tune in next time when I change the name of the channel to Catra.